Hi everyone, and welcome to the Dawn Jarvis Show. This is a podcast where I talk to leaders, professionals and business owners about who they are, what they do and why they do it. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Huw Davies, and we are going to learn about how to fix your finances so that you can focus on the rest of your life. We're going to learn how personal finance is more about character than intelligence, that this stuff isn't rocket science and it requires discipline to execute. And it's not what you earn, but what you save that matters, which I love that. And that it's important to get on top of your finances so you can get your life back. Now, Huw and I met on the Part-Time YouTuber Academy with Ali Abdul, where we were set up as accountability partners on some kind of weird YouTuber blind date, which is fantastic. And Huw is an entrepreneur, an investor and a YouTuber. He is financially independent and has been for over 5 years. He runs 3 independent businesses from the comfort of his home, and he is passionate about personal finance, investing and entrepreneurship, and understands that there is far more to life than money, and believes that with a little of knowledge and education, we can all solve our money problems and get on with living our best lives. Hi, Huw. How are you?
Hi, Dawn.
Doing?
What a wonderful intro. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So fab to see you. And me and Huw talk every couple of weeks anyway, but it's really good to speak on the podcast. I asked him ages ago. Well, I say ages ago, it was November, wasn't it really? And so it's really good to see you and hear all about you and what you do. So usually investor, entrepreneur, YouTuber, these are big things. Tell me all about
big words.
Yeah, big words. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I think like a lot of people, it started from the mud, really, that I was terrible with finances. I messed around for most of my 20s, got in debt, was in a horrendous state, had credit card debt, had overdrafts, and I met the woman of my dreams. And I knew that if I had any chance of trying to keep her, that I really needed to up my finances, really to take care of myself, to prove that I was worth staying with, to be honest. Don't overstate that. Lou really transformed my life because I really felt like, and my friends reminded me, that I was batting, way above my league. So I knew that I had to really get my game on, to try and keep her attention. And my finances were embarrassing. So like is very normal in my life. I'm either all in or I'm not interested. And I just went crazy trying to sort out my finances. That went to clearing my debt initially, to then thinking, oh my God, I've got money. Like I've got spare cash. What should I do with it? I was saving it. Started learning about investing, playing around with that. And then I thought, well, how far can I take this? And I thought, right, I'm going to test myself and see if I can retire in 10 years. I then went down that path, which led me to entrepreneurship and business and making more money on the side to speed that process up. And lo and behold, within about 4 years, I was able to, I class financially independent. Like I'm not retired. I will work for as long as possible, because I love what I do. But the important thing is to get your finances in order to the point so you can get on with the rest of your life and spend time doing things that you love, whether that's with your family, being a parent, traveling, with your passions or whatever, or passion projects like I'm working on. So that's a very quick kind of intro to my life in the last kind of 15 years or so.
Well, that sounds amazing. And I think being people watching and listening, I know, but you had quite humble beginnings. You were a sales assistant, weren't you? And then a sales manager. That's how you started off in this journey. So what I'm really interested in is that so now you have more than one business, and I would love to hear about them. And you work at home, and you can do whatever you want. So what was the catalyst was meeting your partner, the lovely Lou. But so how did you utilize your humble beginnings? I guess I'm going to say humble. There's nothing wrong with being a sales assistant, but it is a bit of a journey, isn't it, Huw?
Yeah, I mean, people tell me it's the only path that I know, so it's difficult to kind of compare that to anyone else, I suppose. But Yeah, the sales job was something I went into. I felt kind of lost after uni. I went into university to join the Marines as an officer. I love the fact of like work hard, play hard, be part of a team, leadership, go and fight for something to be really proud of. And all of that ticked my boxes. And then the war came in Iraq, and I had a few people, a few of my good mates were in the Marines, and they came back and they told me what they experienced, or partly what they experienced. And I wasn't necessarily in agreement with them going out there. So I thought, you know, I would love to be a Marine, but I don't want to kill anyone. And I don't want to be shot at. Like, as ridiculous as that sounds, that's the truth. So I was then suddenly lost. I was in the last year of uni. And coming off the back of that, I had some jobs and I was just trying to find myself really. So I went into sales. My dad was in sales. I thought, okay, I'll do it. The money's quite good. You don't need a qualification necessarily. And I was, I think, naturally quite good at it. I've got a very quick story actually, which is quite like, you might think I'm arrogant, but this is just like my delusion and confidence, which comes through, and it's going to play a part in YouTube. So in my interview for this sales job, they said that, so what, I can't remember what they asked me, to be completely honest with you, but I remember telling them that, why should we hire you, or something like that. And I said, because categorically, unequivocally, I will be the greatest salesperson in your team. And I will pull in more numbers than anyone else has done ever. I'm going to do that because I'm going to outwork everyone. And I'm going to not stop learning what it takes to be successful. I'm not saying I'm going to do this overnight. I'm not going to do it by backstabbing. It will be all the right routes, but I will learn from everyone. I'll work harder than everyone, and I will be your best salesperson. And I just left it like that. And I was like, that was a really bold step. I knew that. And I was like, shit, should I have said that? And they loved it. They loved it. And they told me that confidence. Would you? Did you like it?
Defo. Yeah, defo. I'd love it.
And that really ingrained something in me. It was just like, because I genuinely believed that. And now, whether I was arrogant, naive, delusional, or whether I was spot on, the fact that I believed it really made the big difference. And I was prepared to kind of work to do that. And within the space of 3 years, I got the Salesperson of the Year award. And the guy that hired me actually brought that up, which was quite a sweet moment for me. And I've just kind of kept that with me, that I speak kind of big goals into existence. And I believe that, I've got a number of flaws, which Lou would tell you about for hours. Okay. But creativity probably isn't my best thing. Going off a blank sheet isn't really Huw. However, if I see a path that someone's been successful in something, I know categorically I can do that too. It's just a choice whether or not I want to do that. So if I can see a path that someone's made and I want to take that same path, I'll just execute it. I'll do whatever it takes to get that done. And that's really stayed with me. I didn't have this level of conviction and confidence in my 20s, but it really came from that moment and has brought me through. And when I got to kind of more recently on the finance side of things, Dawn, when I was like, around 30, I was a sales manager. I loved my job. I loved the company. I loved the people I worked with. Everything was great, but I was on 30K a year if I hit all of my bonuses and everything came in. So with traditional standards, you might think, okay, that's not a bad wage. And it isn't. It's just slightly above average. But I really have always felt this naive, delusional, arrogant thing of like, I'm special. Like, I know I have something. Like, I know I have what it takes to be someone. And I thought, I've got to do something, but what the bloody hell do I do? I don't know what it is that I want. So when I stumbled across a blog about financial independence and retiring early, I thought, oh, this sounds like a little bit of fun. This sounds, like right down my kind of street, a real challenge I can dive into. And that's what I did. And I just put everything into that. And, it worked. So, yeah, I don't know if that's like enough of the backstory, but gives you a little bit of color with the background of Huw anyway.
It certainly gives some color. And it really nicely sort of goes into the first point around that personal finance is about character, rather than intelligence, that it's not rocket science. Now you say it's not rocket science, but it requires discipline to execute. And I think with that little story that you've demonstrated that, if you go for your goals, so it's quite inspirational, that story, isn't it? So you decided that you were going to go, that you walked the talk. You said you were going to be the best salesperson, and you went towards that goal and did what it takes to do it. And you said that, it's not necessarily creativity, but it's about learning what needs to be done and doing it. Would you agree with that, Huw?
Yeah, 100%. Dawn, everyone knows how to lose weight. Like,
yes, of course.
You don't have the rocket science. You eat less and you move more, right? Like that. That's it.
That's
so
what they tell me. Yes.
And we all know that to be true. Like, so why aren't we all walking around with six packs? Because knowledge is, knowledge isn't the be all and end all. Ideas and knowledge are only so much. Execution is everything. So, finances are exactly the same, like so many other things in life. We all know that if we spend less than we earn and we put money away in income driving assets that go up, within like past inflation, that we're going to be in a better position. But who does that? So, look, I will give a caveat to that, because I think there's a little bit more to understand with personal finance than there is to maybe some other areas. They didn't teach us stuff in school. Like that is for sure. That it's just about really trying to get you in a position where you listen to instructions. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing things. It's not about necessarily thinking for yourself. Like entrepreneurship is not something that you're brought up in high school, and that you're you're driven and taught a very particular way, and it goes against a lot of the kind of success, what it needs, what you need to become a successful entrepreneur. So yeah, I believe wholeheartedly that execution is everything. Nothing is rocket science about losing weight either, but it's just about having that discipline to, and a burning desire to follow through on that and execute.
I think you're right, and I think driven people can see that and think outside the box around that, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to be driven and think outside the box. I think if you follow some rules and you learn about it, because what you said about interest and stuff like that and investment, that's scientific. If you do these things, although there is some risk to it, and I know nothing about investing, but if you follow certain things that other people have done, generally you'll get the rewards from that. But you need patience, resilience, and you need to know when. It's a bit like, I suppose, like going to the races. I suppose it's a bit like bookies form or whatever. But I think what people might need help with is having that mindset and not spending the money, or because I would say I'm entrepreneurial, but I have to work really, really hard not to spend all my money, because I was a wage slave and I was a mortgage slave for years and years and years, and I got paid and I spent it all, every single penny of it. So, you say it's not what you earn but what you save that matters. I'm really interested in that, because like I said, I got paid quite well, if that what I mean, and I just spent it. I did have a house, but apart from that, and the house has saved me, but I spent on all my disposable income. So what would you advise me, I guess, and others who are like me?
Yeah, it really hasn't got anything to do with what you earn. It's what you save and invest that really counts. So I was earning, let's just use an illustration from back in my time at PGL as a salesperson. So I was on 30K max, because sometimes I didn't hit all my targets. And that was because I was in charge of a team. Like, I would do everything to hit my targets, but my team sometimes weren't quite as driven as me, but it's the way it goes. But I was able to, whilst paying down a mortgage, I sold my car, got rid of Sky TV, walked to work, made packed lunches, didn't buy any new clothes for myself, didn't do anything, kind of stripped it back, took, really execution. How can I save money? And I just invested all that I could. And I was able to live on less than £10,000 a year. So I was on less than 30 and I lived on less than 10. So I was pocketing 20 a year, which, okay, if you're on 120 grand a year and you're like, oh, whoopie-doo, you're saving 20 grand a year. But for me, that was 2/3. That was 2 years of life of freedom.
Yeah.
So once you put that in investments, and that's growing and producing income, which then compounds over time, and I do that again and again and again, it soon adds up. And then I add a new income stream on the top of it. It just really piles up. So yeah, I gave an example in my upcoming video on Mike Tyson. Like in his heyday, he was spending, was up to something like £4.8 million a year. So he was just spending everything he earned. So if you're earning $5 million, dollars, but if you're, he was earning $5 million a year, and within 8 years, he was bankrupt. So it obviously has nothing to do with that. It's a case of living below your means or living above it. And a lot of people in this society, unfortunately, live above it, and they pay the price later on down the line. And what I'm doing is, it's another way of putting it, Dawn, is that I'm paying future Huw by saving my money now. So by saving, investing today, future Huw is loving me in 10, 15 years because of how much money is going to pour in down the line. Whilst what other people do, they're kind of screwing over future Huw or future themselves by living for now and paying the price later. I just play it the other way. It's delayed gratification for me.
You talk about it's important to get on top of your finances. And I can really see that, because I think finances, it's something that I don't think about. I try not to think about too much, but you have to, really, don't you? Because when you don't think about it, it's sort of like that thing in the back of your head. Or did I pay my credit card bill? Have I done that? And what I used to do is I put everything on direct debit, so I didn't have to think about it. Now the danger with that is that you don't do any planning. Like, I had a pension, I had my regular salary, so I haven't really thought about it. Now I'm in my 50s now, and now I have to think about it, because I'm thinking, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm sort of like doing this work, and I really need to think about, so how long am I going to do this for? Is it going to pay me? I need to sort of have different income streams that are going to pay me passively, so I can carry on with my lifestyle. So for the first time, I think I'm thinking about it. Now, you started a lot earlier doing that, so I think what would be good for but I think there's a lot of people like me that didn't really think about it until they needed to. Now, I've had a bit of luck and had a pension and got a house, and so that's all right. So I've got a foundation, a base to think about it from, but some other people don't. And what I think is that people need to think about it a lot earlier. What do you think here?
As soon as possible. The best day is today. The best day started 20, 40 years ago.
Yes.
The second best is today. So you just got to get on it as soon as. It's the same. Again, I kind of rival it there with health, that you haven't got to have six-pack abs and got to be the fittest, strongest person on the block, but you have to be enough to not allow health to impact your life, because you can have all the money in the world, the best job, best relationships. If you're stuck in a hospital bed, there's only one thing that you want. There's only one problem in your life. So health, you've got to look after to a certain extent. Finances, you've just got to take it off the table. You've got to have enough money not to be worrying about it. And that's the key. It's not about becoming a millionaire. It really does not take that, which again, I kind of talk about in my recent YouTube video, which will be going live. It really is about that savings rate, living below your means, and realizing that actually it's not as big a deal to get to that point as people realize. So yeah, if you can get on top of your finance to a degree, live below your means, start putting a very basic investment away, which again, on my channel, I'm going to try and help people with that, especially people like you, Dawn, that aren't really interested in it, haven't really done much, and had other people maybe take care of it for you. Well, this is about bringing it back in really simply, you controlling it, putting on autopilot. You can take it, you don't have to be as extreme as me. You can just by taking a number of steps, just really notice a dramatic difference. And, I'm passionate about personal finance. I love finance in general, but look, it's not my life. There's far more important things than that. Health being one of them, and life in general, and going out and experiencing the best things in life, being with friends and socializing, doing things, living life to the max, and having no worry concerns can really, or having enough money can really elevate all of those problems, all of those different areas. So there's that saying that, does money buy happiness? Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's a very simple answer. It does. It won't. If you're an inherently unhappy person, money will just make you more unhappy. Money is a tool. It's not an equals. It's not going to suddenly make you happy. But if you are a happy person, you're a social person, you want to make the most out of life, money will just, will make all of that easier and better. So you just need to get enough money off the table so you don't have to be worrying about it. Really is the key. And I'm going to try and help people to do that.
Yeah, and I think you will. So tell us a little bit more about the YouTube channel, because what I really like about it, it is about money, but it is, I think, in a really approachable way. So somebody like me who, as you said, has no real interest in finance and investing, understands what you mean, and it can be really, really helpful. So just tell us a bit, what's going to be like. So I know you've started it and you're building up your sort of content around that.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a really quick caveat, if that's okay first, because the reason for me explaining this is that I've got three businesses. One is the YouTube, okay. The other one, my one is my online publishing company, which pays me more than I need to live on, and gives me a comfortable lifestyle. And it's also quite passive as well. I've got things on autopilot. So that's taking care of itself and cash flowing every month, meaning my time is back to spend doing what I want. My second business is on a property investing company. So I've had money and capital to deploy. I've always wanted to do it. And recently I got into property investing, and I'm building a portfolio with a business partner with the help of him. Now, he's doing the work, I'm paying for it, and we split the profits. So it's fantastic. So again, that's largely outsourced. I'm involved in the business, but large elements I'm not. So I've now got two very separate ways of earning money, and I can now, I've still got my time back. So what I'm doing is pushing that into YouTube, which is a passion project. I don't need this to work. I don't need to be cash flow. I don't need to be desperate and signing up, flogging goods and sponsorships to try and get some money coming in. It can just be raw, authentically me, trying to add value. And I think that that's really going to come across on the screen. Well, I hope it is anyway. And, to answer your question, Dawn, about what my goal is, I think that personal finance doesn't have to be dull. And I think that I think my passion for the subject, the fact that I don't take myself too seriously, I like to be silly and playful with it, is a really big draw. But that's part of it. The other side of it is that I read recently that really creation is one of the most pivotal things in your life that you need to do to be happy. And I realized to myself, I've got these books that other people are creating for me. I've got these properties that I'm paying for, but I'm not creating. What am I actually making? I'm not a parent, and me and Lou aren't planning to have kids. So I haven't got this creation of me helping construct this human being into this, wonderful person to add value to the world. So what is it that I'm giving back? So I'm using or choosing to believe YouTube is my way for creative expression. And I can put my ideas together. I'm going to try and tell stories, try and have fun with it, be playful and entertaining, as well as be real, engaging and honest, and share my journey the whole way. So my goal is just to try and help people like you to solve the money problem so you can get on with the better things in life and have a bit of fun doing it. So people will be drawn into it, hopefully by me. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I can be a little bit much for some people, but by the same token, I think there'll be people that will be drawn to my energy. And I'm just going to see where it goes. I think, a realization I had recently, Dawn, I'm going to share with you on my next call, but I don't need to because I'm speaking to you right now, is that I am so happy and content at the moment, actually doing something for me, like my brand that I'm kind of behind. I'm so excited working on this. And to the extent I don't care about whether people like it or not. Like, obviously I want them to like it, but you know what? I'm just getting so much from this creative process that's really, it's who it's making me. That's the real value I'm getting for it. Yes, of course I want it to become a business. I want it to be successful and have impact. But as long as I think I've got that and I keep driving that and that's still there, I think it's going to be great. So I'm really excited to launch it and see how we get on this year.
It's so exciting to be part of it, be part of the journey. And I think it will be successful precisely because it's a passion project and because it's because I don't know, it sort of takes some of the I don't know, so people can tell when people sort of, no, it has to work, doesn't it? But you're doing it for different reasons.
Takes the pressure off.
Yes, absolutely.
Takes the pressure off. I can have fun with it.
Absolutely. And I think, and we've talked about this, haven't we, that, people like me that sort of like, see, and we've met lots of people who do finance channels. I mean, I'm just like, oh, boring. But if you talk about it in a way that resonates, I think that's the word, that resonates, when you think, oh yeah, that applies to me actually. I think, and I think people will be on, because I know my experience with YouTube and the guests that I've had, the ones that talk about investing, the ones that talk about buying property, and the ones that talk about branding and all sorts of things, they're the most important ones. They're the ones that people think, oh yeah, I need to know about that. But I think it's about accessibility, which it is in health as well, actually. If you want somebody to learn something, you have to go to where they are in their head around where it is and what, I love that. What it means to them. And sort of like in health, we have an expression like what matters to you. So we talk about that with our clients. What matters to them is not what matters to us. So we think, oh no, we want them to take this tablet or whatever, or have this surgery. What they want to do is just to live their life, and to do it the best way they can. So and I think that might be the trick of YouTube, or the trick of any content, that it needs to resonate, it needs to mean something, and then people can apply it, can't they? Because they can see how it would work for them and see how it would be part of their lives. So I really love that. And
Beautifully put, Dawn. I love it.
Thank you. And you're a publisher as well. So we both have a love of books. You know, I've got loads of books around me and buy loads of self-help books and stuff like that. So I asked my guests to recommend some books. So you've recommended some books, and I just wanted to know, tell me the books you recommended and why you recommended them.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is another thing we could have a whole few hours on this alone because I love books. So what I've tried to do is pick out the ones from a personal finance side of things, and I think most of it comes that like this is the boring thing for a lot of people. The best books I think are the ones that shift your context as opposed to the ones that provide content. It's trying to change the way you think and set principles in place for you to then become a different person off the back of it. Yeah. And for that reason, my first pick would be the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And if you aren't readers, I would check out just Joe Rogan. He did an interview with him, and also Tim Ferriss, I think, has done 3 or 4 with Naval Ravikant. That's how I first heard of him, from Tim Ferriss. And he's just he's such an inspiration. So this guy balances essentially finance and wealth with health and happiness. This, you know, he believes there's far more to earning money, but he doesn't believe in working harder. And he said that we shouldn't be proud to be grinding ourselves down, working, you know, to the bone. You should be smarter than that. So it's a very eloquent, philosophical look at finances, as well as peace and happiness and well-being. So if I were to give you one book just to look at to improve your finances in the way that I would like to put it, it couldn't be much better than that book. That wasn't written by him. That was written by a fan that he signed off. And it was based on the very few podcasts that he does, because he doesn't go on social media a lot because he values his health and happiness. So yeah, that's a fantastic book. What are your thoughts on that, Dawn? Would that be appealing?
Yes, I think so. And so what I do is I put the links to the books that my guests recommend in the show notes. And yes, that will definitely.
Cool.
So I went through your book choices. I think, oh yeah, I need to buy that. And in fact, I've already got a couple of them, but let's carry on. Yes.
So yeah, I think after that, there's a couple that kind of spring to mind. Again, anyone knows personal finance, what I'm about to say is not original. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yes. And the 4-Hour Work Week are the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is by Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, beautifully written book. It's in the guides for story. Robert has his own dad who's a teacher, government kind of based job. His best friend Mike has his dad is an entrepreneur. So he says Rich Dad, Poor Dad, as in Mike's dad is rich and his dad is poor, although he's not technically poor. He just spends everything he earns and goes into debt. And his best friend's dad kind of teaches him the way of business and investing and financial freedom, and he follows that path. But it's in the guise of a story, and it's very captivating, and you're not taught that stuff at school, and it really was like a shake-up for me. So it was a beautiful book. The 4-Hour Work Week, on the other hand, is a bit more tactical about how you can get out of your employment mindset and look to get freedom. Looking at automation, hiring people within your life around the world to help you with some of the tasks that you don't want to do that suck your time, so that you can create a job for yourself on the side, which eventually covers your living expenses. So then you can have these, what Tim calls mini retirements, these little 2-week to 2-month breaks around the world, and already experience parts of what retirement is now, rather than waiting until you're in your mid-60s.
Oh, that sounds good. Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the 4-Hour Work Week, I actually have them but haven't read them. But actually, I'll let you, which is a bit.
How dare you? How dare you, Dawn?
I know, but now you've praised them. I might, yeah. I think, yeah, because you know, with both of those things, the sort of thing that I should be looking at. So those are good. Have you got any more? I mean, any more book recommendations?
I have 2 more on the finance side of things. The first one's a Millionaire Fastlane. Now I got the audiobook of this, and I think it's by I think it's MJ. I think it's MJ DeMarco. I could be wrong. It won't be a million miles away. Yes. The Millionaire Fastlane, and he does that analogy throughout the whole book about being in the slow lane, middle lane, and fast lane, and that we want to be in the fast lane. The audiobook was really difficult to listen to. I found it was the author that was doing it, and his style and persona rubbed me up the wrong way. I actually didn't like that. However, being the person I am, I just gritted through it because the information was really good. And it teaches you very much about business and becoming financially independent once again. It goes through loads of different case studies and how he got to where he did, and put some principles in place which are brilliant. Like they're undeniable. So I didn't like his reading style, so I would recommend get the book in a text, and that takes it away. But a very valuable book, and it's got a huge amount of nuggets on there. Once again, working towards entrepreneurship and financial independence. A great book.
Brilliant, brilliant. And the last one?
The last one's the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. A lot of people have heard of Grant Cardone. Yes. I just can't. Like his character is not really. He's not really like me, but I can't help but love him. He's so kind of cocky and arrogant and sure of himself, and working towards what needs to be done because he's prepared to work harder than absolutely anyone. And the 10X Rule is really simply, if you have a goal in mind, you need to do 10 times that amount. And I've tried to implement that in my life. And as an example, Dawn, I don't know if you know this, I'm not sure if I've expressed this with you, but my goal on YouTube, I currently have, I think, 62 subscribers, okay? My goal was to create a business which I felt was around 100,000, but Grant Cardone won't be having any of that. So it's going to be 1 million, okay? So you heard it here first. I am going towards 1 million subscribers. That is not an easy undertaking, but when you concentrate on a goal that's 10 times the amount of what you actually want, you have to go at you have to go at it differently. It won't necessarily mean you have to work 10 times harder, okay? It means you just have to be 10 times smarter. You have to use leverage. You have to be creative, think outside the box. And when you start planning your goals about how you are going to achieve 1 million subscribers instead of 100,000, you'll start to bring things up that will change the way that you act. So for that reason alone, and the way he conducts himself across the book, a fascinating book, a bit about his life story, was on drugs to start with, kind of got out of that and got obsessed with finance and making something of himself. And he's on his path to become a billionaire. So yeah, another great book.
Fantastic. So I love that because I that's another book that I have got and haven't read, I'm ashamed to say, but I will read it now, because so I had two things to say. The first one is around goal setting, and that if you set yourself these big ginormous goals, that you actually set your mindset in a path to actually get there, you know. So you need to make it a big goal, and I actually really believe that. And even becoming an entrepreneur, having a government job, I love the way you described it, you know, it's sort of like it. So the people that worked with me, not many, I think, you know, I'm not unique, but not many sort of leave sort of like public sector work and then go and be an entrepreneur.
Oh, you're unique.
Yeah,
you're unique.
So, you know, that is, you know, so but that was my goal. And you know, when I spoke to people like my mother, why would you want to do that? Why don't just get another job? But you know, that is so I really relate to that. So I will read that. My second question was about audiobooks versus physical books. And so I've got Audible, and you know, I'm not plugging Audible, but you know, but I've got Audible, but I actually do like a physical book, and even read it. And sometimes when I used to drive around for my job, I used to listen to books, but now I don't drive around. So you know, my Audible subscription's getting just bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm not getting any books. So the question is, physical or Audible? What do you think, Huw?
Like most things in life, Dawn, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. So I'm going to say both. Okay?
Yes, I agree.
There is a reason. Because I don't have to choose, I can do both, and there's value in both. There, you know, when I go walking, when I work out, when I'm driving, it's audiobook. I love that, and it's a great way to access it. I get through books way faster with audiobook, and if you struggle to read the physical copy, they're brilliant. It also sets me up because some books are great for audio. Some books, I agree, are actually better in paperback format, especially if there's a lot of tables and stats and numbers and stuff like that in diagrams. I want to see it. I'm a visual learner. So the audiobook, it kind of like, I get lost on me. Yeah. So there have been a number of books, and Naval's is one of them. When I listened to it, I was like, well, I'm buying this book. I already knew that. I was like, I'm buying the physical copy. I bought the physical copy so I can dip in and out and check it as well, which is harder to do on audio. So I like a physical, and I like getting lost in a book, but I spend less time doing it. So in order to get more information in, you know, I just leverage the wonderful world of Audible and the audiobook. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to stick with both.
Okay. Oh, well, I like that because, and probably because I spend too much money, I get both usually. I usually have the Audible and the physical as well, and it can change. Like when I'm driving, I will listen to the Audible, but then I'll go back to the book. But hey, that's me, which is not probably on the saving money thing. But anyway, there you go, there we go. So you've got this YouTube channel, and the channel will be in the show notes. What I ask everybody, and I'm really interested in your answer. How do you stay so focused and positive and productive? And because I'm a nurse and I'm into health and well-being, particularly for entrepreneurs and business owners, how do you manage your own health and well-being? But you've already talked about that you go running or walking, or you work out and stuff like that. So there's two questions. How do you stay focused, positive and productive? And how do you manage your own health and well-being?
I have a really clear set of goals that I want to accomplish, and I know what I need to do to do that. The short answer to it is I don't really know, to be honest. I've just kind of always been like this. I'm all in or I'm not interested. And when I have my eyes set on something, and now it's 1 million subscribers, it's not going away, and I will get it. Trust me. This is the first interview I've had. It will happen. And I'll just work relentlessly towards that until I achieve it, or until something else more pressing and more important comes into its place. If I don't achieve it, it's because I'll die, or there'll be something else more important that comes up. And both of those are possibilities. But if all of those are all okay, I will get it. To answer the second,
does that impact on your health and well-being, though, that you're so driven and focused? So you are focused and productive, and positive, very, very positive. But does that have an impact? And do you have to think about your health and well-being because you are so driven?
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't answer that part of the first question, so thank you for bringing that up. For positivity, no, I would say it's something I've had to work on. Naval Ravikant has done a beautiful job of this. He said he used to be a slightly miserable person, and he's now become a very happy person. I can say the same thing. My dad, who sadly is no longer with us, he died a couple of years ago, was a beautiful man, the most caring person you'll ever meet, will take his clothes off, to make sure you had clothes. However, he worried about everything in his life, and he put those worries on you. So he was a difficult man to be around, because everything was, "Oh, are you sure? Do you want to? Why are you quitting your job? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to put money in there? Isn't that risky? Isn't that?" And you're like, "Oh my God." So I took a lot of that on, and I've really had to work hard to be positive. Look, I don't think it's not just about being positive or negative. I don't necessarily think either are good or bad. They can be both. I think it's about trying to have having a positive outlook, but being able to rub that up against reality. And what is it going to take? Because I can be a total positive, person to say I'm going to reach 1 million subscribers, or I can sit here and say I'll never reach 1 million subscribers. Neither are going to move me any closer to the needle. What I need to do is brush up against reality and see what it takes to do that, and then execute on it. So it's something I've had to work on, and I think it's an ongoing thing. And generally, I think people would probably comment that I've got good energy, I'm positive and uplifting, and I like to be like that. From the health perspective, to answer your question, Dawn, if you're not careful, it can ruin you. If you have my mind, I think it's really hard to go down the path of just working yourself to the bone. And I've been very fortunate that I don't know where this has come from, but my awareness was, I know when to switch off, and I don't take evening calls. I don't do anything in the evening. That's mine and lose time. That's for us watching a bit of Netflix, doing our puzzles, or hanging out and talking or walking or whatever. So I need to have that cut off. It's really important to me. I'm not a workaholic, and I don't claim to be. I don't want to be. I'm a hard worker, and I work hard and play hard, and I need to have the play. So I can't do too much of either. So I do try and distinguish as much as possible, but I'd be lying to you if I said there weren't times where I've kind of crossed the line. But I think I'm very thankful I have enough self-awareness where I can notice things in myself, and that's where maybe training has come in. It's been a great equalizer. Like just prior to this, I've been weight training for 90 minutes. I then got on the cross trainer for half an hour, got a good sweat on. I'm coming in now, I'm feeling $1 million. Like I love life. And if you told me I could never get fitter, never get stronger or more muscular, I would still work out exactly the same way, because of what it does to my mental health. It's everything to me. So working out is it's hugely important for my mental health.
Fantastic. Now, I'm going to talk about how we met, actually, which sounds very romantic.
It is. It is.
It's a good love story. But we met on the Part-Time YouTube Academy by Ali Abdaal, and it's so brilliant. And they had a matching service for accountability partners. So we're accountability partners, which I think is really, really good. So what that means is that we hold each other accountable for, we were sort of at the similar stages of our YouTube channels, and we hold each other accountable for the progress of that. So this is a little plug. So we did this in November, didn't we, Huw? And we're going to go do it again. We think it's starting on March the 15th or the 16th of this month. And I'm going to put an affiliate link if you want to do it. So this is a bit of a plug from me, and hopefully from Huw too, about doing the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, because the whole point is that you can do this and do whatever else you're doing. So like you, my YouTube channel is a passion project. It's something I do, and I'm building up slowly, and I do that alongside my other businesses, which is health and wellness consultancy, and writing a book as well. So that's my sort of like thing. And I met Huw, who's fantastic, and I've learned lots about things, about content, about branding, about telling a story, about how you engage people, and all sorts of things. So I think it's a really good thing to do. What do you think, Huw?
Yeah, I genuinely couldn't agree more. I'm not putting an affiliate link in. This will be Dawn's, but I'm telling you firsthand that it is probably going to change my life.
Yes.
There's a huge array of skills that you'll get off the back of it. Even if it was a case that you want to make better home movies, the stuff that you can get from that, internet marketing, monetization, creating a business. Ali's a very smart guy. He's put a lot of effort into it, and the package is phenomenal. And obviously my life has changed because I've met Dawn. But outside of that, the PTYA material is first class. So I would happily recommend it to anyone anyway. So yeah, I could only agree with what you say, Dawn, and I cannot wait to get started next month.
Brilliant. And I'm doing it again too, which is part of the package, that you can do it as many times as you want to. So Huw, this has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But we chat like this anyway, don't we, to be honest? But it's really good to share that with other people as well. So you obviously got your YouTube channel. Does it have a name, or is it your name?
It's going to be my name. I'm working on my brand right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be under Huw Davies. So I'll make sure you've got a link as well to click on it. But I think it will just be my name.
Okay, brilliant. And how can people contact you? What's your social media? How can people find out more about you, and look at your channel, and also see you on social media?
Yeah, so I'd say YouTube is going to be the hub of everything. I'm going to be creating a website to come off the back of that, which we're working on right now. My Instagram and Twitter are Huw's View. That's HUWSVIEU. So Huw's View. I do have a LinkedIn, which is /HRDAVIES. But yeah, hopefully that will be enough. And if you do come from Dawn's channel, please say hello. I would, love to hear from you.
I think people will, definitely, and I will too. So it's been brilliant, and there are going to be links to all of Huw's social media contacts, and obviously to his channel in the show notes. And this is going to go out on audio and on YouTube, because that's how we met, and so that's the perfect place for it to go. So Huw, it's been absolutely fantastic as always. Thank you very much. Do you have one pearl of wisdom to leave the audience with? It could be about personal finance, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's actually not going to be, and you won't know that I'm saying this, but it's to plug Dawn. So when we were put, and I want that money, by the way. I'll be waiting for it. When me and Dawn were put together, I mean, I'm a very analytical person, and I can get lost in my head. I'm a classic overthinker. Whenever people come to me for counsel, I give them honest, transparent advice, and I'll try and do it with love and support, and I'll try and listen to them, and I'll also try and give them some, sometimes it's that tough love, and I'll give them that. There have been times where I've been stuck in my own head, and over the last kind of several months that I've known Dawn, it's just been so fantastic to have someone that thinks very similar to me. So I just wanted to give you the credit that you deserve. I don't think I've been able to do that enough on our calls, just to say, Dawn, you are a superstar. Your channel will blow up because of you, because you are someone that's super sensitive, that you do know and you care about people. At the same time, you've got the courage just to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. So I've needed that at times, and you've been fantastic. So yeah, that's the only thing I'd like to say, is to give you a little bit of plug, because you are the real deal. And I'm just so grateful that we're staying in touch. So Dawn, this is my first podcast that I've done. I'm hopeful that I'm going to do hundreds in the future. And it all started here, and I'm so glad it was you. And I just thank you for your time and for inviting me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you so much. And when you've got 1 million subscribers, remember where you came from, babe. Remember the people that came up with you.
Dawn who?
So
of course I will. Of course.
Thank you so much, Huw. It's been really, really good. It's been really good.
Thank you, Dawn.
And that's it for the Dawn Jarvis show today. It's been a good one today. Thanks. If you like what you've heard, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, because there's lots of comments, I think, that we can that can come from the show. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.